Okay, very wet day today. I think that's about it for the snow possibilities anyways for the remainder of this year. I'll be surprised if it does snow. I was thinking if I was to do that community garden thing with some of the stuff that you guys said with the drone and all that, maybe I'll have to start trying to use those waypoints and stuff. I'm still super paranoid about using those automated modes. It seems like most of the crashes and stuff like that happen because for some reason that thing decides to go back home and loses connection. It comes back and it flies backwards, hits a building. So that's what I'm kind of paranoid about. Like I always believe anyways, like personally just from my experience, if I want to capture just regular footage, I'll fly it manually because everything happens kind of dynamically. You never know if there's a bird there and so forth. So, but in this case, I can kind of see people using it more for a work purpose where they want this very specific type of shots all the time. So you want to set it up. So maybe I'll test that out. No, you're not hallucinating. If you're wondering, where's that laughing coming from randomly? I just did that on purpose because one of the interesting articles I read where apparently the Amazon Alexa, it has been just randomly laughing at people like out of nowhere. So basically there's supposed to be a fix for it. As it says here, Amazon knows Alexa devices are laughing spontaneously and is working to fix it. And there was examples, for example, people having, I guess, some kind of business meeting, and then I guess out of nowhere, once they finish talking, the Alexa just starts laughing at them. Or in some more creepy cases, people were already sleeping in their house at nighttime, and then just out of random, you just hear something laughing in the background. People are like, what's going on? Is there like a kid in here or something like that? Some of the laughing sound effects sound kind of creepy with what the other people were showing. I tested mine out, and that's the laugh that comes out of the Alexa. It's more like a tee-hee. Tee-hee. Oh man, that must be creepy if you're actually just out of nowhere, just by yourself in the house, and all of a sudden it's laughing. What's going on? Is that the first example of when machines go wrong, they're just going to start taking over the world? Still waiting for the proposed final drone regulations in Canada, of course, but it always did make me think in terms of if someone in that high position tries to be a regular person to see how ridiculous it is, in many ways they probably change it and adjust it to be more reasonable. So this one was kind of a fascinating story I read. It says here, counselor using drone for city business says he's following the rules. Apparently there was a controversy of this, of what if, for example, people in those kind of positions are using a drone, just like as a regular photography purposes, should they be able to just use it, just as normal, or should they be scrutinized like crazy as well? It says here, a Hamilton City Councillor has been using a drone for 3 years to film traffic patterns, development properties, and heritage buildings. But Ontario's Privacy Commissioner says the city needs stricter rules in place if elected officials are going to do that. It says Terry Whitehead spent $2,150.36 in 2015 to buy a Phantom 3 professional drone. He says he used it about a dozen times and follows the federal rules. And I was thinking, doesn't these quotes sound familiar from like just the plain recreational flyers? It's a tool, Whitehead said. It's innovative. The camera is a tool. A drone is a camera with wings. But apparently people like Ontario's Privacy Commissioner sees it a little different, saying it could pose a risk because, I guess, of the position that he's in. And it says, individuals have a right to go about their daily lives, whether in public or private settings, with a reasonable expectation of privacy. So any government using drones to comply with privacy laws, that means policies around and why drones can be used and what happens to the information, who has access to that information, and how that information is stored. It's kind of interesting too to read how they found out they had a drone in the first place. It says, Viv Saunders, a City Hall watchdog, came across a drone item while tracking how councillors in wards 1 to 8 use their area rating money. This part was a little confusing though. It says, Transport Canada says municipal governments using drones for work or research need a special flights operation certificate. But then it also goes on to say in this article anyways, there are exceptions, particularly for drones that are 1 kilogram or less, which is the appropriate weight of Whitehead's, he said. He was following the rules. To my understanding, unless I'm confused, it doesn't matter if it's a Phantom or whatever, if you're using it for quote, work or research with the way it's worded, then it's considered commercial, correct? Like you still need an SFOC or whatever. And ultimately, the person was saying he only used it a few times, it was just to take pictures and all that, and he quotes and saying again, it's an innovative tool to facilitate making informed decisions, he said. If critics have a problem with it, that's their problem and not mine. It does not mean that any business or anyone who uses a drone is creepy. To me, that's really fascinating when people in that position are now, I guess, accused of being, say, the stalker or using drones for dubious reasons. Is that what it takes basically for people to realize things like those regulations? Hey, maybe you're going a little bit too overboard with it. Maybe people are just using it as a quote camera. There has to be a better balance overall. I can see if it's a really huge drone, you're trying to deliver something, like you specifically require the clearance of this space to do whatever it is you're doing, then that's different. But I don't know. Again, for things like just flying up there, taking a video or a picture, I don't see what the issue is overall. Like funny enough with that community garden, for example, remember how we read before saying the drone, like if you take it for farming reasons or whatever, is considered commercial. How about someone letting you take it for fun? I just want to document it, potentially to see how it looks and changes. Does that count as commercial work now? Again, it needs to balance. When do you start saying you're using it kind of like, say, a huge airplane for commercial reasons versus someone just flying it up there and taking pictures or whatever for fun? Okay, I'm just gonna try to test this little thing here to see if I can put this camera and the thermal camera in the same kind of tripod area, just to see if I can capture some different stuff to make it easier when I'm taping like events. Okay, I can't put the camera back, but I'm just seeing how it's gonna turn out just with these two at the same time in front of here. It's a lot harder though to try to keep the thermal camera more stabilized than usual. Holy, speeding there enough, bud? Although here again, this is the example if I get to flip it together at the same time. I don't know how it looks like because I can't see it. Okay, what I do know is this would definitely help when I do things like the events or hikings where I need to just put the cameras in front of me and look at the little preview. Although again, it'd be more interesting or more practical if I actually had like a stabilizer and stuff like that. Still trying to find like a good one that's reasonable. Guess I gotta find something in the archive today too. Alright, see you guys later.